Welcome back to Driven to Live, where this week your host, Stephen Rivers and Jesus Garcia, we're going to talk about all kinds of automotive stuff, including what car would you steal if you had the opportunity. We're going to talk about what Jesus is driving, the Lexus 700H, what I'm driving, the Ram 1500, and what we've learned about the way that truck drivers actually use their trucks. Jesus, tell us all about this Lexus you've been in.
Well, I've been driving. I gotta admit, I just got it last night, so I've only sat in it. But it is the Lexus LX 700H Overtrail. So that is their top of the line SUV with the off road package. It's sand colored. It's got all-terrain tires. It's got leather seats, two-tone leather seats. It's got all the bells and whistles. And I think it's grossly overpriced because I just looked at the sticker price. It's $118,000, which nearest makes no difference. It's 120 grand for basically a SUV the size of a new Sequoia with all the issues that new Sequoia has, which is like no rear cargo space. It's got that wheezing engine. I mean, and I understand. Okay, cool. It's got the off-road package, but it's a Lexus, so that means it's going to take about three owners in 12 to 15 years before it even touches any real off-roading because nobody's going to offer a brand new Lexus. They're going to buy something else before they do that. Every Lexus GX you see right now off-road is at least 10 to 15 years old because that's how far they need to age for someone to be like, all right, I can thrash it around, no big deal. So I'm going to have more news on that next time. But in the meantime, the other vehicle I've been driving is the 2026 Ram 1500 RHO. That is the twin turbo Hurricane, 540 horsepower, what was formerly the TRX replacement, but now who knows? I've been using that for about almost 400 miles of driving all over the city. And I can tell you, because it's an off road truck with ginormous wheels, my ankles are on fire from jumping down and up all day. It's a great truck. It can do all the fun stuff, Baja mode. It can do, mild jumps and survive, that kind of stuff. It's great. It's not as loud as the TRX, which is nice because you don't need to be loud 24/7 when you're just driving around from A to B. But, and it's funny because guys notice that truck a lot. I've gotten so many, like, what's that? Is that the new art show? What are you doing with it? That kind of thing. So if you want male attention, get an art show. It's just a big old bronzy looking truck. Very
Ladies, if you're looking for a man,
get a big old truck, man. They'll like it. And as far as fuel economy, it's not that different from the TRX. The TRX is famously known for getting maybe 12 or 13 mpg. This is slightly better, and by slightly, I mean 14 mpg. And that is just city and highway driving combined. So it's
that's
average.
like a 10% upgrade right there, bro. 10% more fuel economy, more power than a Ford Raptor is what these folks over at Ram are telling me.
Yeah, like and it does like it whooshes around. Like it's really nice. It does have a slight turbo lag if you're going up if you're like coasting at 10 miles per hour and you suddenly need to get up and go.
What
Put your
paint
foot
color do
down.
you have?
Sorry.
What paint color do you have?
I have the military green looking one.
Military green. How about this?
That's the one. I
Serrano,
love in that
baby.
color. And it does look good. And of course, it's still a Ram 1500 on the inside, so it's spacious, comfortable. I am having trouble with the Uconnect with it with CarPlay because it's just not always as smooth as I want it to be. Like sometimes it glitches, sometimes it'll connect the phone, but not CarPlay. So I can't use navigation or I can't do this, or I'll get a phone call and it'll cut off. And when it cuts off, the stereo, whatever I had on satellite radio, blares open. So I have to be like, sorry, hang on, let me connect on my phone while I'm driving, either the speaker or you connect. Just little tech gremlins like that, which I get it happens, but when it comes to an $80,000 truck, it can be really annoying. One instance I had with it, I had to carry some boxes with it, and they were long boxes. And I remember, oh yeah, this truck has a very short bed. So they were sticking out. I had to lower the tailgate, strap it down so it won't fall off, and drive with the tailgate down. So the dash was just lighting up. hey, the tailgate's down. It's like, I know it's down. Can't you feel that there's weight on it? So it's smart to tell me that the tailgate is down, but it's not smart enough to realize that I'm using it for something. And so the whole drive that I had it was just beeping me every couple minutes, like beep beep, hey, tailgate's down. It's like I know it's down. That was also really annoying. But again,
Sounds frustrating.
it is frustrating. But then again, I'm pretty sure that would not happen with the normal 1500 or the diesel variant or the heavy duties. This because it's kind of a trophy truck in more ways than one. I assume they're not thinking, well, people are not going to use it to haul stuff, not use it to carry stuff. So I'm hoping that's just one of the little things.
How
Other than
dare
that,
you use your truck like a truck? We're gonna circle back to that, everybody.
yeah. But beyond that, it's nice. It's not. It looks really big, but once you get the hang of it, you're not gonna have any trouble trying to find like a parking space or anything like that. It does fit in most parking spaces with giving you enough room. The side mirrors do tuck in is not bad. Like you're not gonna be like, oh, it's too big. Nah, it's fine. Unless you live in New York City, totally cool.
Okay, I'm gonna counterpoint you, bro, because while I love you, the thing doesn't fit in most car washes.
Oh, that's different. I haven't.
Let me just tell a quick story. I had not the Ram RHO that he's got. I had a 2025, and as I try to do with any vehicle that shows up to my doorstep that's capable of off roading even at all, I tried to take it off roading, and I did, and I muddied it up like crazy. And while it's not a requirement, when the press car folks show back up, the last thing I personally want is for them to show up to a vehicle that's dirty, has no fuel. Like, when they come to me, they're driving 5 hours, and the last thing I want is for them to have to work harder to get that thing back home, right? I can only imagine they're like, let me get home.
Mhm.
So I spent 2 hours driving around from one car wash to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, trying to get this thing washed. The only reason that I didn't just go to one of those, drive in, pause, stop things was because I was kind of like this. I was in kind of like dress clothes.
Yeah.
The fourth place I went though was like that, and it had a weird issue with its payment system. After three places told me the thing would not fit, I was like, I'm just gonna wash it in my dress clothes. It's gonna be what it is. And I roll up in there and the payment system doesn't work. So I go to
Well,
a fifth place, and finally I found a place where I could roll through it without them stopping me. But I was turned away from the first three by individuals who looked at the truck and said, "Oh, sorry, it's not gonna fit."
I can't understand
So
these kind of car washes where you kind of drive in and they tell you, all right, put it in neutral, and it's on rails and it guides you through. Because if that's the thing, I can understand because the tires don't fit on the rail.
right.
It might damage it, that kind of thing. But you should have told me I would have recommended you one of those touch-free car washes where you just pull in, you park, and the thing has jets around it.
So that was number two. That was the second one that I went to. The problem there was for the one that I went to, it had bars on each side. And anybody in the comments, if you ask us in the comments about this, I will send you free swag from one of my press trips. You just got to tell me I was here for the conversation about the car washes, and I'll send you free swag from a press trip. I'll even give the option of what you want out of the stuff that I still have. I tried to roll into this thing, and the truck was simply too wide. Yes, the tires are wide, but they still have to fall within the fender well, right, by federal safety standards. And it was just too wide. It literally would not physically fit. The one that worked was still one of those ones that kind of like pulls you through, but
Yeah,
instead of it being in a track, it was a flat track that you just drive onto. There's no limiting factor left right.
that's fancy. I haven't seen those yet.
Yeah, it's called the McBee's. Not sponsored, everybody. Not
Huh.
sponsored. McBee's. And I will say this about McBee's, something cool, kind of cool. It's a gimmick, I'm sure. You pay for your you pay for your car wash, and as you're paying for it, you can add a coffee, like a latte or a mocha or an espresso or blah blah blah.
Damn.
You go around the building, and right before you go into the car wash, they're like, "Here's your coffee." So I mean, that's kind of cool.
I do like that. That's a neat little spin on the proven formula. And granted, the number of car washes out right now and being built constantly. I mean, it's like Starbucks in the early 2000s. The number of times they're building them. I always
Yeah.
wondered how many of these are just like like Walter White situations. Laundromats. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because there's too many. Come on, man. Like I know people like washing the cars, but oof, I think that's gonna be a thing later on. Like maybe Vice is gonna do a story on that.
Makes me think of mattress stores. Like,
Yeah.
who's rolling into a mattress store and is like, "Yeah, let me go out and buy a mattress here," when you can get one on Amazon for like half the price and it just shows up to your door.
I will say I did that once. I did that in 2022. I bought a mattress. I went to the store. I saw it. I'll take that one. They put it on top of my Crown Vic, tied it down, drove home. I
I
don't need
wish you had photos of that. If you're watching on YouTube, you're probably seeing a photo of that right now because Jesus has sent it to me after the fact. But he's probably about to tell me that he didn't have a phone then.
I need to dig in deep into my archives, but I should have a photo because naturally I took it because I'm very proud of my Crown Vic. And I was like, I don't need a truck. I have a Crown Vic. It's just it's better than the truck.
I agree. It
Yeah.
is better than our truck.
They drove it home.
You know what? Hey, let's talk about that before we get to the Louvre conversation and the
Okay.
heisting. Since we're already here talking about trucks, I've got a Ram 1500 this week as well with a Hemi. It's kind of
All right.
funny if I'm totally honest. No one knows who this is, and no one even knows the company that they work for. But the press car person that showed up today and said, "Here's your car," I said, "Oh wow, can you feel the difference in power?" Because on the side, on the fender, it's got the little Hemi badge now. And to his credit, it does not say the word Hemi, but it does have a Ram
Mm.
with a V8.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, yes, it's very powerful. It's got the straight six." And I was like,
All right.
"Does
What?
it though? I don't. Maybe I'm wrong." And as soon as he drove off, I popped the hood and checked just to make sure that, like, for my own edification. And I'll tell you, there was a moment I was worried. I was like, this guy clearly has driven this thing way more than I ever will. Probably he's driven it from Texas. Like, I'm not gonna go do that in the week. He didn't. He didn't know that it had a Hemi in it. He couldn't hear the Hemi. He couldn't feel the difference. He couldn't. I don't know. I will say, speaking of cars that we're driving right now, it doesn't have the. It does not have the throttle response that I expected. It is not as sharp off the
Oh,
line as I thought it
wait a
would
minute.
be.
So is yours a 2026? The
Yeah,
cutback Hemi?
yeah,
All right. And so it's the 5.7, the one that, they brought back because, people demanded and
yep,
they complained and they
yep,
cried and
yep,
they load the sacred Mopar no car because, oh, it's not a Hemi, I don't want a Mopar anymore. Well, guess what?
right.
No car. I'm like, no, we'll go somewhere else. So that's a shame because from what I read in the press releases is that 2026 they all come with performance exhaust standard.
When you started, it does sound good. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the throttle mapping is a little funny.
Mm.
The throttle mapping feels like the straight six, and let me be clear. I don't think either is bad. You're driving a freaking boat. Like, you're
Yeah.
not. We're not talking about a sports car here, but you do want something that, like, what is the point of a Hemi, logistically speaking, from an objective perspective? Forget that you like the sound. Forget that you like anything about it. Just think about from an objective perspective, what's the benefit of a V8 over a twin turbocharged V6? It's response, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to wait for spooling up. And this has the E torque, right? So it's got like a mild hybrid going on between the gearbox and the rear wheels. And so it's like, if that's going on, shouldn't throttle response be like super sharp, like 100% on top of it?
My best friend's 2019 Ram 1500, which he told me he's never going to sell, 5.7 Hemi, and the whole point of a Hemi is that yeah, the power, the noise is cool, and saying you have a V8 is cool, but it's supposed to feel effortless
Yeah.
acceleration to whoosh, where you just breathe on the gas pedal and you're doing 45.
Yeah.
You want a little more, 75.
Yeah.
You want a little gutsy, guess what, 105.
Yeah.
That's it.
It really makes me want to go drive an SRT 10. I'm going to be totally real. I think Dodge went the wrong way when they got rid of the V10. And I get where they were going. I mean, like, obviously, it looked like we were headed towards this kind of like emissions crash where you had to be getting 40 miles a gallon and everything. But, like, I would like to believe that the Ram 1500 SRT10 is the halo and will always be that.
I mean, SEMA is coming in a few weeks, and you know they're gonna bring up all the stops when it comes to the Hemi because it's like this is like the great return. They
Yeah,
actually,
and yeah, don't get me wrong. I do think the Hemi is going to continue to build on that, but I'm there's been a couple other YouTubers, Butter the Insider, guys like that who have said, the V10's coming back, the Viper's coming back, blah blah blah.
why
I'm
not?
not I'm not saying it's not. I want that to be the case. As a guy who's driven the first gen Viper and just loved it and thought it was the silliest little truck on four wheels, like it is a
The speed,
visceral it yeah, it is the the Jose Canseco of Mazda Miatas. That's what it is. It is on the juice, right? And you can tell. Um, I want that back for both for Dodge and for Ram.
it might just be a thing that what you're driving is since they brought the Hemi back real quick, and so maybe this is just like a hastily put together, just get it out there. We'll tinker with it, we'll finesse it better as the years coming up. But right, we just need to get it out there.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, tough to say. Tough to say, but I will tell you this, I'll do a 0 to 60 test and we can talk about that next week if I can remember about it.
yeah. But
Uh
when we're talking about trucks, tell us more about your recent nugget of gold when it comes to data and truck ownership.
Man, it's been crazy. Good question. Great segue. I, you know, I read a piece from 2019 in the Drive, and it was kind of I don't know. I don't want to say pejorative, but it leaned on some of the stereotypes, right? It talked about how like, hey, you American truck drivers, you don't need a truck, you need a cowboy costume. And the whole point of the article was like, look, we're all adults, we should all be able to drive what we want to drive. But the reality is that the majority of you don't really use a truck the way that a truck is meant to be used. You own a truck for emotional reasons. And look, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people, almost everybody, almost all of us own the vehicle that we do because of an emotional thing, right?
Definitely. And I'm
I
an
mean,
example of that.
yeah, I think a lot of us are. Hang on, I'm going to pull this up so anybody that's watching on YouTube can actually see it. Um, this way, I also get the actual title
But
correctly.
I own a fleet of 70s boats, not because it's a financial wise decision. Like,
Yeah, good point. Good point. You don't need a full size pickup truck. You need a cowboy costume. That's what Brett Burke said March 15th, 2019. He got almost 300 comments on this article. And
I wonder,
frankly, go ahead.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
A lot of
Well,
people.
he definitely poked the bear, right? And I think the reality is that, he's both right and wrong at the same time. Right? Again, people buy stuff for emotional reasons. They don't buy it for logical reasons
I
all the
have
time.
two friends who own Jeep Wranglers, and they are spotless because they've never touched dirt.
And that's wrong. In my opinion, that's not the way to live your life.
No,
If you if you, hold on, let me back up. If you are wildly wealthy,
Mm.
buy whatever the heck you want to buy. And also, reach out to us because we'd love some financial support.
Yeah,
But
please.
but I mean, realistically, if if you're not wildly wealthy, why are you driving a vehicle that you're not using to its full extent, or to a high degree of its full extent? It doesn't have to be this perfect thing that, you know, Brett makes a good point, and I try to make it in my new piece. I'm going to put it up on the screen now. Capability by the numbers, what most truck buyers actually use their vehicle for. I'm not saying that if you own a sports car that you got to be on the track every week. But let's talk about the reality here. If you are on the road and something crazy is to happen, are you more likely to avoid the crazy thing in a truck or in a car?
Yeah, then it becomes a question on quality of drivers.
But I mean, let's say the driver is the same driver and they have a 6,000 pound truck and a 3,000 pound car. The car is going to avoid the accident and the truck is going to crash into whatever's happening because you can't cheat physics. You just can't. There's no getting around it. I talked to a guy from Strategic Vision, the president there. It's basically a data company, right? And they
Mm.
survey 250,000 drivers every month, and or not every month, every year. And what they've come to find out is that the way that truck drivers use their trucks is basically like a lot of people use their car.
Mm.
Uh, one third, one third of individuals who own a truck never tow with it. 9 out of 10 people who own a truck will put something in the bed at least one time a year. One time a year. Now, that's not to say that there are not others who put something in the bed once a week or blah, blah, blah. But it does say that a little bit over 10%, so 1 in 10, never put something in the bed of their truck. So why do they have it? So if they don't tow and if they don't put stuff in the bed, why do they have it? Well, the president, Alexander Edwards, made a good point, and I've got it up here on the screen for anybody watching on YouTube. He said truck owners, they want that vehicle to take their self-perception and help them become their ideal self. When you get into your truck, you can be more confident, more capable, more reliable, and more secure. Now, that's fine. I'm not advocating against having those feelings. You should definitely aim for that, especially on the road with other road users. All
Well,
I'm pointing out is that there is a large subset of truck drivers who buy their truck because it makes them feel something, not because they need it. And at the end of this article, which has not gone live as of this taping, and I'm showing all of everybody without that, I just hit on a couple of important points. Research from the IIHS shows that vehicles with higher front ends, so specifically pickups, right, are more likely to cause pedestrian fatalities than lower sloped cars, right? In addition, other studies show that the extra weight of a pickup adds almost zero driver safety. But it does increase the risk for other people
yeah.
that are involved in the crash. So by driving a big truck, people are essentially reducing their own safety because they can't avoid the crash, right? They're less likely to be able to avoid the crash. Secondly, if they do get in a crash, they're not really increasing their own safety very much at all. And thirdly, they are making it worse for the people that they might have a crash with. So basically my end all be all in the article is this, that we need to be, I think it's reasonable to ask, how ethical is it for automakers to kind of steer the market the way that they do in terms of like advertisements? Because that influences not just the way that we see cars, but it influences the size of cars, the shape of cars, and the risk profile of the cars that you and me and everybody listening to this share the road with, right? There's a little more danger there because vehicles are bigger. And
Yeah.
that'd be fine if everybody was using their truck or SUV, their big giant SUV or big giant truck, to the greatest extent possible. And inside of here, we talk a lot about the truck owners that do. The bigger the truck, the more likely it is to get used for stuff like towing or hauling or blah, 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 right? But the reality is that there are a lot of truck owners who drive their truck and treat it like a crossover or a sedan. And all I'm trying to argue is not only would they enjoy driving more, but all of us would be safer if they did just that.
I mean, one of the first articles as a writer back when I was in my college newspaper was, "Hey man, trucks are getting too big." And this was back in 2012. All right. Even then, I was like, "Hey man, this 2012 Sierra is bigger than my '97." And now I'm saying the same thing about a GMC Canyon or a Chevy Colorado or a Toyota Tacoma, which dwarfs, like it just towers over my full size '90s truck. And I mean, as far as capability, I mean, I've driven a lot of these new trucks, and guess what? I can't fit the same stuff in the bed as I can in my '97. But the bed's wider, it's longer, but still being standard. It's not a long bed. It's just a standard truck, and it's can still tow as much as any new ones. The only difference is that mine's got a lot more miles on it, so it's got more wear and tear. But it's still chassis. And then again, the front end isn't as tall. Like I'm not eye to eye with the grill on my '97 as I am on these new ones. Like the RHO, I can't reach anything in the bed. If I put them in there, I can't reach. I physically have to climb on the tire or the rear bumper or hop in entirely just to get a toe strap or whatever I put in there. I'm
I'm
five
telling you,
seven.
man,
I can't get into it. I can't reach over. I can't. It's impossible.
it feels like a plan. It feels like a marketing thing that over time automakers in general who build full size trucks have been like, we could make a lot of profit on these if we just make them cool enough. And
It's like,
that's what they've done.
hey, do you need a truck? No, you do anyways. You gotta haul stuff. Like what? Here you go.
You could feel more confident when you get in your truck. Hey, good. When you get in your truck, you're going to be more capable. You're going to be a more reliable person. You're
People
going
are
to
gonna ask
feel
you.
secure.
No. Yeah, because the things like people can ask you to move in, and guess what? You can say no. You're busy doing what? They don't gotta know.
Truck stuff.
Truck stuff. So you don't know you don't have a truck.
Yeah, it's a sketchy situation. But anyway, we'd love your comments and your thoughts. Do you own a truck? If you own a truck, tell us about how great your truck is and how you should be able to drive the
Yeah, yeah.
truck
If you own a truck,
into school children.
if you own a truck with a spotless, shiny, unscratched truck bed, let us know.
If you are the ideal buyer of the Lincoln Blackwood, let
Ooh.
us know. Or the Chevy SSR.
Hey man, those things look pretty cool. They've aged pretty well.
Again, that's the kicker, though. They look cool. We all see them and we're like, this looks great. Let me get one of them in my life. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our main topic. Our main topic, there was a heist at the Louvre.
Yeah.
How unreal. Tell us about it, Jesus, and let's branch into this, bro.
Well, you gotta. The thing is that if you get all your news from memes. You can have to actually go out and do your own research because all right, they apparently this Ocean's 11 style heist. They got there in the morning. They stole a bunch of jewels from Napoleon's wife, and they got the crown. Smashed the crown. Took all the emeralds and diamonds. Because like screw that, got all the jewels. Bugged out. The head of security is now offering to resign over this because yeah, it happened on your watch. Guess what? You had to do you have to either you have to because and it's a shame because she just started this job. So imagine you just started this job. You're head security for the Louvre, and boom, you got a movie style heist happening on your watch. That's a bummer for her. But anyways, that got me thinking because obviously because this is trending as memes because the memes are hilarious. I mean, they're already doing like Pink Panther references, the penguins from Madagascar, all that. Like, who is the one who stole? Who's the crew? So there, I saw these things where now they're making fun. Like I saw this one where it's like, oh, they broke and someone stole Joe Camel's leather jacket. Suspects were leaving the facility in an El Camino. Like, yeah, of course. So I thought, all right, if I was gonna commit a heist, obviously it'd be for a car, and there's tons of amazing cars and car museums all over the world. So we started talking like, if you had the means, the resources, and the opportunity to keep whatever you stole, what museum car would you steal? My choice
All
is
right.
a little weird, but let's go with your choice first.
I'm trying to pull it up here. Hang on here.
I've been asking all my
Who
friends stuff like that. A lot of people are saying like, Batmobiles, Duesenbergs, movie cars in general, you know, Ralph Lauren's Ferrari collection, that kind of stuff.
I
You
mean
know,
Ralph Lauren does have I
he's
feel like
got
he's got one of the like six
he's got them all. That's the thing.
he's got like one of the six type 57 Bugattis left.
Yep.
Uh
One of my friends said, whatever Jeleno has in his garage at the moment when I get break in, I'm taking it. First set
hmm
of keys I get, boom, that's what I'm taking. So yeah, because odds are it's gonna be something pretty cool.
I for sure get that. Uh so I think I would go with I'm going to show you here. Hang on. This is not the car I have driven.
Hmm.
This is from Lane Motor Museum in Nashville, Tennessee. Friends of the show. In fact, that's a good reminder. We need to have their education director on soon. This is a Renault 5 Turbo 2. I'm sure there are plenty of museums that have Lamborghinis in them.
Mhm.
Lane does have one. They've got a Yurako. I don't fit in it. I've tried. Um, the Renault 5 Turbo 2, the reason I picked this is because I love Lane to death. But if there
Hmm.
was a museum I would try to steal something out of, it might be them, other than the fact that I love them. The only reason I say that is it's pretty small. This is not a museum in LA. This is not a museum in, some giant city. This is in Nashville. And in fact, it's kind of like on the outskirts of Nashville. And the Renault Turbo 2, this one from 1983, this is the better of their. They used to have two examples of this. I've driven the black one that they sold. I believe they sold it on Bring a Trailer.
Lane Museum. That the one that has all the micro cars.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. Yes, they have a ton of micro cars. This is, in my opinion, the hidden gem of automotive museums in the world. Turbocharged, four-cylinder, 158 horsepower. You would think it was double that just driving it. Um,
I do like a
these,
French car. They're nice.
yeah, that's a good point. If I'm totally honest, I never in a million years thought that I would enjoy a French car. I really didn't. I've driven a Fiat Multipla, thanks to them. I've driven quite a lot of French cars, all because of them. Uh, including what was it? What is the thing that? What is the car that is related to? It's like the Renault. Hold on.
Well,
It's the
well,
Renault version of the DeLorean.
the Renault version of the DeLorean. Oh, jeez. got me stumped there. But before the viewers and listeners, roast you live, the Fiat Multiple is Italian.
Oh, fair play, fair play. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Uh,
But yeah, you got me stumped there, bro.
hey, roast me. Bring it on, everybody. Bring it on. Come at me, bro. Um, Renault has a two-door version of the DeLorean. It's the same chassis exactly.
Mhm.
Um,
The only other DeLorean spec that I know is the Canadian Bricklin.
oh yeah, yeah,
That,
the
that was the
Brooklyn, yeah.
Canadian DeLorean.
All right, here it is, the 1980 Alpine
Oh,
A310, basically.
that's the one.
Um, I've driven that as well. Good car, backbone chassis, very wobbly,
Mm.
very wobbly. But that would be my pick. I would go to Lane Miller Museum. I would try to get a Renault 5 Turbo 2. These things are so much freaking fun to drive, and like nobody knows about them. No one thinks about them. No one. You could roll around that in traffic, and people would be like,
What's
"Why
that?
are you driving such an old piece of trash?"
And I'd be like, is that a Mini Cooper? It's like, no, it's French.
Yeah. What's with the super old Mini Cooper, bro?
All right, so my choice is very specific, and it is a movie car. It would be Eleanor, but not the one people think the one Nick Cage drove in the 2000 Draper car movie. No, mine is the original OG Eleanor from 1974. Yes, that's a movie that is kind of like if you know, you know. Gone in 2 Seconds, 1974, the original. That was Eleanor. They used two Mustangs for that movie. One was the pretty car, the show car, and then one was the stunt car that they trashed for 30 minutes in the whole car chase. It survived the jump, it survived all the unplanned crashes, the accidents. That car was basically built from the ground up to be a juggernaut. It had, two trans brakes to do slides. It had a souped up engine. It had the transmission chained up so it wouldn't fall out. And that car was as is in 2014. It was on display at the Peterson Museum in LA, and I love that car because it's Tom Cruise personified in a car. I mean, it does its own stunts, and it survived doing those stunts.
Yeah.
And last time I heard, it's still in private hands. So all I gotta do is just find out exactly where it is, hop in, start it up, take off. Because it's funny because that car, when they did the new release of the 2000 Classics movie, and then they released the 74 on Blu-ray, they actually got the car out, tuned it up, changed the oil, and they started doing burnouts with it, and donuts, and reverse 180 slides, all that kind of stuff. And it's just wild to see this really battered 50-year-old car just waking up and doing the same things as you did back in the old days. And if I encourage anybody who has not seen the movie is hilarious because it's written, directed, produced, starring, and driven by one guy. It was his own project. He basically said, "Look, I have my own money. Why don't you go to a studio? I'll just do all of it myself and then release it and make $1 million." And that's what he did. So the movie's ridiculous in that it's just very early 70s cheesy, awesome, but all the cars are to die for. And that chase is literally 1/3 of the movie. Like the entire 1/3 of the movie is just one long car chase, and all the stunts are real. It was filmed without permission in LA. You can see when they're doing stunts, there's crowds of people behind it because they had no idea what they were watching. It's like, oh, they thought it was a police chase, or they thought, oh, they're filming something, not knowing that there was no safety. There was no one like, oh, in case a car rolls over into the crowd, oh well. And it's on YouTube. If you want to check it out, highly encourage it. It's better than rewatching The Office for the fifth time. Just watch that movie. It's so good. If you love cars or if you're a film buff, it hits all the points. It is so bad it's good, but it's also really epic from a car perspective because you're looking at all this. Yeah, all these chases are real. Those crashes are real. No one's wearing a seatbelt. No one's wearing a helmet. It's nuts. You can see where like, oh, that guy almost got hit, or yeah, that shouldn't have happened, or they crashed too many cars. When it came out, it held the record for the most accidents and crashes in the movie. It was like 93 wrecks in total. before the Blues Brothers topped it. It's been beat several times since then, but that car, I want that car. So as a movie guy and as a car movie guy, that is the ultimate price.
So you specifically want it with the damage or without it?
I want that one, the damaged stunt car. And of
As
course,
you
I will drive it, I will use it, I will crash it again, just see if it's survive another one. Just do burnouts with it all day.
sounds like a plan, dude. I mean, no, we're not gonna actually do that, everybody. If these come up stolen, we did not do it.
No, we didn't do that. Someone else
We
did
didn't
it.
do it. You know what? Changing subjects. Hey, what are we gonna talk about next week, Jesus?
I might have some news on a Polestar vehicle, which would be my first ever for the brand ever. So it'll be nice because it's like, all right, cool. I'm going into this with fresh eyes, no past experience. I've never driven any of these brands, none of it, nothing. I've only seen photos of it. I've never even seen one in person. So it's like cool. Very excited I get invited to this event to drive one. Um, and then I don't know what I'm getting next as far as press cars, but I don't always figure out. I don't always know until the day of, so that'd be nice. I do know that later on in November, I am going to be driving the new Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy, which after seeing it in Miami, I'm very excited to actually drive it, put some real mile on it, because I love the design inside and out. So that's going to be really exciting to see what it can do in my hands in Texas. But what about you?
Yeah, we got some exciting stuff all month for you guys who are listening and watching. I'll be driving the new gas-powered Dodge Charger later this month, or I should say in November,
Wait,
coming up
new
soon.
the four-door one?
I don't know if it's gonna be 4 or 2, but it's got a six-cylinder inline six twin turbo. So
I'm very excited to see that. It's gonna be cool.
excited about that. I'll be going on a short trip for Nissan in Tennessee. Not sure exactly how that's gonna go, but I'll tell everybody about it as it happens. Um, and we're gonna have a special show for you next week, one way or another. We're either gonna have a special movie episode, or we're
Yeah,
gonna talk with a
special guest.
the editor in chief of a very well known automotive journal. So
And I
we're
feel
excited to see you all there. Go ahead, Jesus. What were you gonna say?
yeah, that's the editor in chief of a very well known website and a former boss of mine.
Yeah, lovely guy, super nice guy. Nearly was a boss of mine about a year ago. Um, and we're just excited to spend some time with him. So uh, between now and then, what should people remember, Jesus?
To follow us everywhere, online and in person. Just not don't be a stalker.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with that. Please don't be a stalker. It would be very odd. Our families would wonder what's going
But
on.
if you are, say hi. Don't be a stranger. Just like, hey,
Yeah,
what's up?
just say
All
hello.
right,
Hey, I
cool.
want to see what's going on with that truck.
Yeah,
It's okay. We're not going to mind
like it's not ours. Who cares?
that. If you've stayed around for the very end, you're about to get a clip, hopefully, of a Dodge Ram 1500 Hemi doing a burnout. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us a rating. Watch the videos till the very end. That matters. Share our stuff with people that you care about or people that you think will make fun of us with you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day.